This groundbreaking case is executive director at the Center for American Liberty and one of Layla's attorneys, Mark Trammell. And also joining us is also the senior counsel at the Lawfare Project, Gerard Filitti. And also, we're going to welcome back our great special guest who's been with us all morning, business and political analyst John Burnett. This is such a stunning case. And Mark, I want to get to it with Layla Jane, because I understand they also removed her breast. I mean, she had dramatic surgery. Walk us through what happened. She saw something online, right, on social media.
Yeah, I think like so many detransitioners, she was very influenced by social media, TikTok, where she's being presented with images of transition being this like salvation for happiness, right? And so she went to her physicians at Kaiser at the age of 12. They put her on puberty blockers. They put her on testosterone. One of the physicians who's a defendant in this lawsuit actually only saw her for 75 minutes before concluding that she was transgender, approving of this course of treatment. And then at the age of 13, doctors performed a radical double mastectomy on her. And now here she is at 18. She's detransitioned. She realizes the lies that she's been told, and she's identifying as her true self.
What happened with her parents? Because the parents were involved, I understand, Mark, but just so briefly, they basically used the line, you could have, a living son or a dead daughter, right? Wasn't it? They basically said you have no choice.
That's right. So really the whole context of this lawsuit is medical negligence, right? So the issue here is of informed consent. What did physicians tell Layla and her parents at that time? And we reviewed the records. We know what they said. We know what they didn't say, which is really the issue here. So doctors concealed from Layla and from her parents less invasive treatment options. So counseling was never offered as an option here. They also concealed medical studies that would have dissuaded her from doing this. So between 80 and 90% of kids who have gender dysphoria typically age out of it or when they reach adulthood. That is a stark contrast from this coercive statement that Layla was told, that her parents were told. Basically, you have a choice, a dead daughter or a live son.
This is really astounding. I want to bring in Gerard. What is your reaction to just hearing this? It is so heartbreaking, obviously, for Layla, for her parents, everybody.
No, it's shocking and it's appalling, and it's really apart from the standard. We expect doctors to provide objective medical advice, not to be driven by the subjective, emotional-driven desires of a child. So a case can and should be made here that when a doctor indulges in questionable elective medical procedures for a child, which have life-altering and rather permanent effect, that doctor is not exercising the duty of care towards a patient and is committing malpractice. And this is the problem. We expect objectivity and science. We don't expect medical professionals to be indulging on the subjective emotional whims of a child.
Yeah, and, John Burnett, I'm still just, my jaw is dropping when I was hearing Mark that spent 75 minutes with her and then comes to this conclusion. Your thoughts, John Burnett?
Well, a medical official's personal thoughts or political agendas should never enter into their practice. And I was shocked too. Only 75 minutes, and I looked up. This happening on the West Coast. I looked up how long does it take to fly from L.A. to San Francisco. You know what? That's an hour and 26 minutes. Essentially, when you go up, you come right back down, and that flight is longer than the consultation with a minor with regard to an irreversible surgery. That's appalling. That's shocking. We need to move immediately, right, to make sure we take care of things at the state level as well as federal level. These surgeries cannot happen unless there is thorough and due process, and possibly set it as where you cannot have these type of surgeries until 18. I'm open for that, and I think a lot of parents around this country would be as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so stunning. Gerard, I also want to talk on the broader issue because there are recent reports that show that European countries are urging caution when it comes to medical intervention for transgender minors suffering from distress over gender identity. The U.S. is doing the complete opposite. Do you think we're going to see a lot more cases like this in the future? And why is the U.S. Having a whole different standard, it seems?
Well, first, I think we're already seeing a lot of cases like this. We've seen plenty of studies, we've seen reports, we've seen hearings at different states, but they're just not percolating through the news. The mainstream media is not reporting on it. But we do have these studies in Europe. We do have European countries that have conducted more rigorous approaches and have deemed that allowing children to undergo these procedures is actually more dangerous than not. So we are actually lagging, whereas normally, ironically, we follow whatever socialist ideas come from Europe. This time we are not doing that. We are blazing forward on a path of allowing children, uninformed minors, to make medical decisions for themselves, which is contrary to what science is showing in Europe. We're seeing this in the U.S. as well, but it's just not getting the attention it deserves. We need to be aware of this. This needs to be in the news, and there need to be hearings, investigations. There should be legislature on this. We can't just go forward without assessing the risks.
Yeah, absolutely. John Burnett, your thoughts?
Well, we're not seeing it. Why? Because it goes against their narrative. They want to push this agenda at the state level and in these local municipalities. And if they actually showed case by case all these situations where people have regret, that undermines their push to try to control and try to get these children to have these surgeries sooner than later. They're actually going after the parents. If the parents don't affirm the child's feelings that are influenced by social media, and we know from social media, it really doesn't give you the details. It's really used in these 1 to 2 minute, 5 minute clips to spark emotions, and it drags you and sucks you in to this world that oftentimes is not reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for young people, too. They are so influenced. Gentlemen, thank you all so very much. And everybody.